Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Vishal from Maharaja Agarsen University, Badi, Himachal Pradesh. Today we are going to discuss about the module Project Control under the paper Entrepreneurship Development and Project Management. After completing this module, students, you will be able to understand the concept of project control, understand the scope of the project control, and know the techniques of project control. Students, control is one of the most important functions of project management. It implies measurement of project performance against the standards and taking corrective actions for deviations to ensure achievement of project goals. The objective of project control is to ensure that everything occurs in conformities with standards. An unexamined project is not worth for an entrepreneur. Therefore, he has to review the performance of the project from time to time from different aspects. An efficient and effective control system enables the project manager to achieve the desired results and helps to predict deviations before they actually occur. In the words of Kuntz and O'Donnell, controlling is a measurement and correction of performance activities of subordinates in order to make sure that the enterprise objectives and plans desired to obtain them as being accomplished. According to Theo Hammond, controlling is the process of checking whether or not proper progress is being made towards the objectives and goals and acting if necessary to correct any deviation. Thus, the control process has the following steps. Number 1, establishment of standard performance. Number 2, observing actual performance. Number 3, comparison of actual performance with the standards. Number 4, taking corrective action. And last but not the least, project control is the process of monitoring, evaluating, and compared planned results with the actual results to determine the progress towards the project cost, schedule, and technical performance objectives, as well as the project's strategic fit with objectives of the organization.
Project control consists of four things: establishment of standard performance, observing actual performance, comparison of actual performance with standards, and taking corrective action. The scope of project control. After launching of the project, control becomes the dominant concern of the project manager. In the initiation stage, a project manager has to establish the control, which involves establishing organization, contracts, schedules, budgets, systems, and procedures, etc., and the proper implementation. During the next stage, he has to control the ongoing activities of the project when it enters into the production phase. The primary objective of establishing control is the completion of the project, and that too within time, cost, and according to specifications. Project control has a direct correlation to project progress and stakeholders' expectations. On the basis of the above discussions, the scope of the project can be discussed in the following parts: progress control, quality control, schedule control, cost control. Progress control. The primary objective of every project manager is to complete the project. The success of the project depends upon timely completion of the project within the framework of allocated budget, and it must perform up to the desired satisfaction. An ideal project is one which is carefully selected and prepared, thoroughly appraised or analyzed, closely supervised, and consistently evaluated. The basis or progress control should be the control of the tasks which occur at the last level of the work breakdown structure. Completion of one task leads to next level of higher level of work and ultimately the whole project. At each stage, the progress of the task is measured and controlled. The following are the instruments which are used to control the progress of the project. Preparation of task list. Measurement of progress. Follow-up. Controlling overall project progress. Preparation of the task list. The first step in controlling the progress of the project is the preparation of a task list. Every employee involved in the project should be asked to prepare a list of tasks involved in their particular activity. Once the task list is prepared, it is very easy to estimate the total quantum of work and the efforts required to complete that work. The list can be used for keeping track of what has been completed and what remains to be completed. The objective of preparing task lists is also to functional control of the project, that is, those tasks which require time and do not have much value should be eliminated. It will reduce the work and cost of the project. A task list also specifies the scope of work. It has to be approved before it is taken up for implementation. An approved list becomes a work order. If any change is to be made in the work order, it will need the approval and a change order will be required for that. After finalizing the task list, it is implemented for progress measurement and control. Measurement of progress. Progress measurement is one of the crucial tasks of every project manager for the successful completion of the project. He has to measure the progress of the project at every stage to analyze and compare actual performance with the standard. Measurement of individual tasks is very simple, but the problem arises when he has to measure the aggregate performance of the task, which is full of complexities. Therefore, all tasks cannot be measured by the same unit, and the different tasks do not have the same milestones. The overall progress of the project can be measured by assigning weightage to each level of task in proportion to its contribution towards the total installed cost. It can further be analyzed by giving weightage in proportion to the efforts contributed for the completion of the task. Therefore, for each category of tasks, a list of milestones will be established before the task to measure the progress of the activity.
Follow-up. To ensure the successful implementation of the plans, proper monitoring and follow-up of the project activities is required. It will not only expedite the functioning of the project, rather help the organization to make things move. Once the things started moving, they do not necessarily move in the planned way. So, for the timely completion of the project, follow-up is essential on day-to-day basis. Follow-up can be done through proper information system, reporting, review of the progress, and finding reasons for variance in actual and standard performance. It identifies the steps required to accelerate progress and fixes the responsibility for taking these steps.
Controlling overall project progress. There must be balanced progress in all stages of a project. There are different phases of the project, and the progress of one phase must support the other so that there should be balance in each phase. In the initial stage, the balance in progress does not become so obvious. But when the progress of the whole project is viewed, any imbalance in different phases of the whole project becomes the main issue. Moreover, at the lower level, if there is a gap between the actual progress achieved and the progress committed, it can be reviewed and controlled. But at higher levels, it has no meaning because it becomes uncontrollable. Thus, for progress review at higher levels of management, it is necessary to know what progress is required in particular phase of a project to keep the project moving at the desired rate of progress. Quality control. The quality control is a process using which an organization seeks to ensure that the product quality is maintained or improved and manufacturing defects or variations are reduced or eliminated. Quality control requires companies to set up an environment in which both entrepreneur and employees put in the best efforts to achieve perfection. This can be done by providing training to employees, setting up benchmarks, testing or inspecting products to check for variations using statistical quality control tools. Quality control is setting up a framework of well-defined control limits. The control limits help in standardization of production and quality aspects. Quality control is all about setting standards about how much variation is acceptable. For organizations that have adopted quality control as a continuous improvement process, statistical quality control and statistical process control are commonly used tools. A quality control approach can be highly effective at preventing defective products from reaching the customer. But at the same time, if the defect levels are very high, the company's profitability will suffer, and this can be only handled if steps are taken to find out and eliminate the root causes of variations taking place. Quality control can be performed through three tools such as inspection, quality insurance, and total quality management. These tools are as follows. Inspection. Inspection refers to the method that detects quality problems at the end of the production process before they reach the final customer. It emphasizes testing of products to uncover products that do not meet specifications. It is a traditional method that enterprises use to achieve the quality standard. In the enterprise, the inspectors of quality control department check the finished items and reject defective or substandard products. Once the causes of problems are identified, the quality control department tries to change that aspect of production process and procedure to solve the quality problems that occur more often. This control technique has some drawbacks, such as inspection does not add any value to the finished products and services as it is done after the transformation process. Moreover, inspection is an expensive process in terms of both tangible and intangible costs. For example, materials, labor, time, employee morale, and lost scales.
Quality assurance. It refers to the method that focuses the efforts on improving quality. It is guided by the belief that quality comes from the improvement of the process, not from the inspection. In detail, it attempts to improve and stabilize production and associated processes so that the issues related to the quality of the product are minimized. A quality assurance process may involve the following: testing of previous activities, planning to improve, incorporating improvement, review new item and improvements, testing of the new item. One quality assurance process involves product evaluation and testing to determine whether they meet standards such as performance measures. As a result, quality assurance can involve delays in production until all corrective steps have been undertaken. Inspection is treated as one aspect of the overall quality assurance process.
Total Quality Management (TQM). Total Quality Management is an integrated approach adopted by the management with the objective to focus on quality and continuous improvement in all functional and operational areas of business. It has been observed that over the time period, TQM has contributed substantially in improving the overall capability of the business and helped in sustaining the competitive advantage. TQM focuses on improvements from very basic foundation of the business. It has also been opined that TQM is not an inclusive solution to all the problems of the business and it cannot solve managerial problems. Customer satisfaction is the key driving force of total quality management. Total quality management is said to be an enhancement of the conventional way of doing business. For the better understanding of TQM, let us break it in the following way. Total. Total means summation of the whole. Quality. Quality is the degree of excellence. And management. Management is getting things done through others, through planning, organizing, controlling, coordinating, directing, etc. Thus, it is clear that product is treated as quality product when it meets certain or all dimensions of the quality. But quality dimensions as applicable to manufacturing cannot be applied to service sector. Since the products produced by the manufacturing organizations are tangible and can be seen, touched and measured directly. For example, apparels can be touched and quality can be assessed by touching them. Similarly, in case of cars, computers, etc., it is easy to ascertain quality. Therefore, in case of manufacturing organizations, definition of quality mainly stresses upon tangibility, such as feature of quality. Similarly, it includes conformance, which means customers can see whether the product meets the predetermined standards or not. Performance, reliability, durability, and other features can also be easily judged. The degree of perception of quality of each customer vary. Now, in service organizations, a product is intangible. It cannot be touched or completely seen. It can only be experienced. For example, in case of hospitals, services cannot be experienced only. Similarly, quality of holiday packages or resorts can be experienced only. These cannot be touched or seen. It is the intangibility of the product which makes it different from the manufacturing organizations. Since it can be experienced only, so the perception of quality is highly subjective. Other than tangibility, some features of quality in service sector includes courtesy and friendliness of the one who is serving, promptness in the delivery of service, atmosphere where the service is delivered, and the consistency in delivery of service. That is, every time the same standards are delivered.
C. Schedule control. A project manager has to concentrate on monitoring schedules. Schedule is the process of monitoring status of the project in order to update the project progress and manage the changes in the schedule. The project manager has to control the schedule and make sure that all activities are lined up with the schedule baseline. It is a proactive task of the project manager. Schedule control is a regular activity of the project. A manager has to control the schedule throughout the project until all the activities have been completed. Schedule control is concerned with determining the current status of the project, ascertaining factors responsible for the changes, determining the variance in the project schedule, and managing the variance.
After calculating the updated schedule and budget, they have to be compared with baseline schedule and budget to analyze and compare the actual performance with the budgeted. The variance between the baseline schedule and budget and updated schedule and budget determines whether the project is going as per schedule or behind the time schedule. This process continues till the end of the project. Thus, schedule controls include the following steps: complete analysis of the schedule to measure the performance of each activity and making analysis to determine the variance, deciding what corrective action should be taken, revising the current plan to incorporate the changes, and reevaluation of the schedule after corrective action. The process will be continued till the planned corrective actions do not result in an acceptable schedule. Thus, schedule controlling is a continuous process in order to measure the performance of activities as per schedule baseline. Techniques of schedule control. The following are the techniques used to control the schedule. Variance analysis. Variance analysis is a technique to determine the variance in the planned schedule and actual time taken to complete any activity. It compares planning data with actual performance in order to discover delays or variations in the project schedule. For example, the production process of a project is compared its scheduled start, duration, and anticipated completion date with its actual start, duration, and completion date in order to calculate the variance in that activity. Progress reporting. Progress reporting is a technique to report the timely start and completion of all the activities and the remaining duration of unfinished activities. In this technique, normally a percentage is used to differentiate between the scheduled time and actual time taken to perform the activity. Performance measurement. Under this method, the project performance is reviewed and compared with project plan. It assesses the reasons for delay and other deviations in completing any activity of the project. This technique helps the project manager to compare the performance of the activities and determine if corrective or proactive action is needed for the project. It can be done with the help of the following: schedule comparison bar charts, project management software, schedule change control system, schedule variance, and schedule performance index. Resource leveling. Resource leveling is a technique used by the project manager to review the allocation of resources to existing or new tasks. It will normally cause the resources to be leveled in order to control schedule. Schedule compression. Under this method, techniques like crashing, fast tracking, etc. are used to control the schedule. The objective here is to determine an approach either to reduce the plan's during duration or to accommodate resource limitations.
Cost control. Cost control is the process of monitoring the cost status of the project and controlling the same. The project manager has to monitor and control the budget of the project. The basic objective of the controlling cost is that the project must stay within funding limitations. Under this process, the project manager finds the variance in the budgeted cost and actual cost and also make necessary actions to ascertain the reasons for such variance. He must control the factors contributing such variance. He should take appropriate steps to bring the actual cost in line with the budgeted cost, either by modifying the future plans or changing the way to performing the work. For small projects, it is easy to analyze the cost for the whole project, but as project becomes large and more complex, cost centers are to be established at various segments of the project.
Techniques of cost control. There are many techniques used to control the cost. Some of these are discussed as below. Project budgeting. The term project budgeting refers to long term planning for proposed capital expenditure and their financing. It includes both raising of long term funds as well as their utilization. It is defined as a firm's formal process of investment in capital assets. Project budgeting is the decision making process by which a firm evaluates the acquisition of its major long term or fixed assets. It involves an enterprise decision to invest its current resources for addition, disposition, modification, and replacement of fixed assets. Thus, project budgeting consists in planning the deployment of available capital for the purpose of maximizing the long term profitability of an enterprise. Adhering to the project budget at all times is the key to the profit from project. Tracking of costs. Tracking of costs is another method to control the cost of project. Keeping track of all actual costs is also equally important as any other technique. At the foremost, the project manager has to make the budget of all the activities to be undertaken in the project and keep track of the budget in each phase of the project. The actual cost will have to be tracked against the periodic targets that have been set out in the budget. These targets could be on a monthly or a weekly basis or even yearly if the project will go on for long. Time management. Another technique to control cost is effective time management. This technique is not only useful in cost control but in various management areas. Time management plays an important role in controlling activities as the delay in completion of any activity will increase the cost of the project. Therefore, the project manager would need to be constantly reminded his team about the deadlines of the project in order to ensure that work is completed on time. Earned value management. Earned value management is an effective technique for controlling costs. Its strength is that it looks at cost, time, and tasks completed with the scope of the project simultaneously. It uses a work breakdown structure (WBS) and budget created during the development stage but tracks these metrics during the implementation stage of the project. This technique is particularly helpful for large projects. Forecasting. Under this technique, the project manager not only considers the historical facts but also takes into account the future costs and revenues. Forecasting uses techniques for determining new cost values on the basis of the experiences made during the project. Project performance reviews. In order to check the health of the project performance reviews are required. The performance of the project is reviewed with the help of cost and schedule. However, other parameters such as scope, quality, and team morale may also be used for this purpose. Project performance reviews used earned value analysis and forecasting to compare cost performance.
So students, let's now summarize what we have learned in this module. Project control is the process of monitoring, evaluating, and compared planned result with actual results to determine the progress towards the project cost, schedule, and technical performance objectives, as well as the project's strategic fit with the objectives of the organization. It becomes the dominant concern of the project manager. The primary objective of establishing control is the completion of the project, and that too within time, cost, and according to specifications. The success of the project depends upon timely completion of the project within the framework of allocated budget, and it must perform up to the desired satisfaction. An ideal project is one which is carefully selected and prepared, thoroughly appraised or analyzed, closely supervised, and consistently evaluated. Thank you.